Hello and welcome to the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. I'm Ginny Robertson, one of the hosts of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, where we talk with real women who are living their lives on purpose and bringing their unique gifts to the planet. I'm also the founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine and founder of the On Purpose Woman global community. I'm here today with productivity expert Rita Thomas, and we'll be talking about cash in your contacts. Before you go chasing new leads, look at the treasure in your list. Thanks for being here with me, Rita.
Oh, and thanks for having me, Jenny.
I'm excited to dive into this topic with you, but first I want to tell our viewers a little more about you. So Rita Thomas is an entrepreneur, photographer, automation specialist, speaker, and Air Force veteran who is committed to showing entrepreneurs how to make the most of all their assets. Her passion is for showing others how to automate their business for more success and peace of mind. Rita shares the systems that saved her sanity and allowed her dream of business ownership to come true with other entrepreneurs through training and automation systems. Well, Rita, before we speak specifically about the cash in our contacts, I'm curious about something in your bio. You shared that systems that saved your sanity and allowed this dream of business ownership to come true for you. Can you say a little bit about what were some of the challenges that you faced when you were trying to do it all yourself?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. So I have always loved photography since I was a child. My dad liked photography and I was always at his knee. And so even as a teenager, before I could drive, I got a job and I saved my money to buy a camera of my own. I just always loved photography. So I naturally made a business out of photography as an adult. And I had a full-time job, of course, because it just started as a part-time thing. And I thought, I'm going to do this for a living. I'm going to just take pictures and make people happy. And I'm going to make money and support myself. And I did that for 12 years with a full-time job because I never could. I mean, think about it. 9 hours every day. You're 100% dedicated to someone else. You made that promise when you took that paycheck. And so my business got what was left of me, the evenings and the weekends. And running an entire business when you're already done for the day mentally and emotionally and taken up, literally, if I was awake for 12 years, if I was awake, I was working or preparing to work. So I was either working for my employer or working on my business. And thankfully, it was something I truly loved, because when you're doing something you truly love, it doesn't feel so much like work. But I was to the point where I said, I am just going to have to just make the break, because in the position I was in, I would never ramp my business up to the point where I could support myself. So I thought I was just going to say, well, I'm out of here, and then hope that I could earn that money and run that business. And a very wise person said to me, please don't quit your job, because you have the skill, the talent, you have the connections. I was able to charge my price list and not discount. I was being referred by people. I had the personality to do the sales. I had everything, except I did not have a business running underneath it. Everything was in my head. It was all on sticky notes all around my computer. I had stacks of legal pads with very important information that I could never find again. And it was a house of cards. And I'm so glad that person cared enough to say to me, please don't quit your job. You need systems. So I set out on a quest to find the systems. And what I found was, you need a calendar, you need a CRM, you need.
Say what a CRM is for those people who don't know.
You need it's a customer relationship management system. It's a contact database. Mm-hmm. You need invoicing. You need a calendar so people can schedule electronically. You need like 5 different systems. And so then I discovered quickly that each one of those has at least a dozen options online that you can choose from. Learn how to use it, pay for it every month, and then try to force them to work together so you can run your business. Meanwhile, what's happening? You're trying to run a business and you have a full-time job.
So nothing really changed, right?
So it became
If you're working, you have more work now probably, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Literally one day I had my head in my hands and I was just crying over my keyboard. Like, this is not going to happen for me. I'm not going to be able to ever quit my job. And this is not a dress rehearsal. You only get one life. I just could not reconcile myself to sitting at that desk and putting my dreams on hold any longer. So thankfully, I was in a 3-day workshop, one of those with coaches, and one of their sponsors was somebody that had all of those things wrapped up in one software package. And it got to be comical because I was literally holding onto my laptop, watching him talk. And he was like, the only thing he didn't do was say my name. Otherwise, he was saying everything I was looking for. And I was hoping against hope that it would be a couple $100 a month that I would be able to somehow find the money, because I knew that's exactly what I needed. So when he said the price, it was so much less than I expected. And I just felt like, stop talking and take my money, right? So that's how I found it. I found the solution. It's all works together. And I became certified with that company. And now I teach other businesses how to do it. But I got to tell you, going from my head in my hands, crying on my keyboard, believing just days before that I was never going to be able to quit my job. 10 months later, after I started automating my processes, got all my contacts in one place and I could manage them. 10 months later, I was able to quit my job.
Wow, that's a story. Congratulations. That's a really big story.
Yeah.
And it leads me to something that I've heard marketing experts say over the years, that if you want to know who your ideal client is, look in the mirror.
True.
So you had a need, you found a solution, then it meant so much to you to have that you decided to create it for other women, and because you understand their pain, right?
I do. I mean, I can talk to those pain points. And I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I was living it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how that feels. I mean, we have imposter syndrome to start with.
Right.
And here's something that even just this last weekend, I worked very hard on something that could bring me money. And I spent most of the weekend working on it. It might not ever bring me money. And who knows? Like, you don't always know if your idea for what you're going to do in your business, go down this path, is really going to be fruitful. I believe that it all will come around and that will benefit me someday, maybe not in the way I thought it would.
Right.
But then, like, trying to find the right system to run your business with, that is a huge decision. And there are a lot of them out there. So I can put myself right back into that place and feel what they're feeling. And that's why I can speak to them and help them and say, look, I have something, I think this will help you. And if not, great, you can find a different solution, but at least I want people to make a decision with all the facts available to them.
Okay.
Instead of making a decision out of desperation or without knowing all the facts.
Desperation, fear, somebody's pressuring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I think often people sign up for systems like that and they don't have a clue how to use them.
That is true.
And then they end up spending way more money, maybe on the other end of it, trying to figure it out or trying to get pieces of it done. So you come with the whole package.
Well, I do have service packages that I charge for above and beyond the base training of it. So here's the thing, you're in business, you're generally going to spend money or spend time to get what you want and need. And if you think about it, your clients are doing the same thing. They're hiring you they're paying you to do something they either can't do themselves or it would take them too long to learn how. So we're all trading money and time. And so when you do buy a package like this, one of the best and most important things to look for is, what is their help like? How much help do you get when you first buy it from the company? And what is the ongoing long-term help? I have been using a lot of integrated other systems that work with mine. And a couple of them, like, you can't call somebody on the phone and get help.
Mhm.
You can't. You have to either watch videos or read articles. That's it. One of them I just needed help so quickly that I had to pay somebody on Fiverr to help me figure out how to do this one connection. And it worked out great for me. The price I thought was reasonable after I spent 10 or so hours trying to figure it out myself. He fixed it in 15 minutes for $75. I would have done that in a heartbeat. But the point is that that company does not have any live support.
Mhm.
And so check that out before you decide which platform you want to use for your company.
Yeah, it's a great point. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about one of those things, one of those systems. You mentioned content management system, or CRM. So you teach that entrepreneurs don't have to touch every single client at every step of the journey. You also, the title that you picked for today's interview is Cash in Your Contacts, that we don't have to go beating the bushes for new leads. We've already got people who've said yes to us to at least get on our list, right?
Exactly.
So they're on our list. Let's start with this idea of, where do we as entrepreneurs fall down? First of all, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who don't even have a list. They have a bunch of cards or a bunch of kind of those legal pads with all the things on it. They haven't put it in anything yet. But once we have that list, what are some of the things that we're not? Yes. I haven't been anywhere to
my
get a
little
business card
stack
recently.
that I need to put in. It's a small stack,
It's a small stack. But where do you think that we fall down primarily? And let's talk about seasoned business owners first, because, we've already got everything in place, hopefully, right?
Exactly.
But where do we fall down using the tools that we have? And what could we be doing instead? Go. You ready?
Okay, go. So where we fall down when it comes to contacts is that whole perception that people talk to me and they say, I need what you have because I need more leads. I need more leads. Those 4 words are generally and usually not true. You feel like it and you believe it. I need more leads because more leads will lead to more money.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to do some things in that process to get that money. And what business owners usually mean when they say, I want more leads, is what they mean is, I want more people to hear and see my message, people that need my product and are ready to buy it.
Yes, I agree.
That's what they're really saying when they're saying, I want more leads, because you can get leads. You can get hundreds of leads every day.
We can buy leads. I mean,
buy leads.
Yeah.
But you don't want hundreds of leads every day, because then you're going to waste your time, your energy, your joy, and your genius on people who don't want your product.
Mm-hmm.
So you want qualified leads. The best thing that you can do is reach the right person with the right message at the right time in the right method. So the method would be either on social media or through email or live, or that's the method that they want to receive the message through. So that sounds very simple. Reach the right person at the right time with the right message through the right medium.
Just do it, right? Just do
and then
that.
there's an entire industry on teaching you how to do that. So business people also, in my opinion, when they're in that mindset of I need more leads, they go into hyperdrive networking. Live networking is coming back in my town. There's a good number of live networking events still happening now. Online networking is still very hot, and you can meet people from all over the world. So if your product is something that you can deliver to, it's not something you have to be in the same room with someone, then you have a plethora of networking opportunities online. So you meet all these people and you get their information, or you make a connection with them, and then you either let that sit on your desk or in your cup holder in your car or in your wallet or in your gym bag, that little slip of paper is literally money that you're letting lie all over or stacking up on your desk. Another thing that companies do is they'll put them in their contact list, and they'll probably send them an email. Hey, it was nice to meet you. I loved our conversation. Let's get together.
Mhm.
And that is where it ends. And it dies a slow, horrible death because you don't have that follow up. You're not keeping that lead warm and letting that lead know what you have that's going to meet their need. And you're not actually making that one-to-one connection or that Zoom call or that let's meet for coffee, because you don't have a way to continue to touch the lead. And
Okay.
speaking of touches, we used to need like 8 to 12 touches. Then it was more up in the teens. Now I'm hearing 20 touches
Really?
per lead
Wow.
before they're ready to open their wallet. And that's only if you have something that meets their immediate need.
Mhm. I want to talk more about, what we do, why it falls right there. We get that email from someone, it was great to meet you, and we have nothing in place. In a minute, I want to talk a little bit about what we can do. But I want to tell you a little story first, if I may.
Oh, yeah.
I founded the On Purpose Women Global Community, and you're a fairly new member of it. And it came out of something I did at my house, a party I had with women, and I observed some things. And I'm not going to go into all that, but if anybody wants to know, you can go to my website, opwtc.com, and click on our story. So I started, I didn't really have a business yet. I was working for a seminar company. They had left the area. I was figuring out what I wanted to do. Something else came up that was really great, but I was figuring things out. So after observing these 4 events I had at my home over a course of a year, I decided I wanted to take it out of my house, take it somewhere, create an organization, give women a place to show up and practice being who they are. I didn't even call it networking because it didn't look like networking that I had been used to doing.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what I experienced when I started going out there and networking is I would meet a whole bunch of people. I would take their cards, they would take mine. This is before the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go home and I have a stack of cards sometimes. Stack of cards, or sometimes people just take cards off tables and all of that. I'd get home, I'd put them on my credenza and I would stare at them. And the main reason I didn't have a system, because I didn't know if there even were any in the early 90s, but I had, this is before the internet, like I said, that's right. So I would stare at them and the only option was to call or write a note. In most cases, you don't have their address anyway, because it's on their business card. So I wouldn't do anything, but I would also get calls from people that I know I hadn't met, but they had my card. Oh, it was so nice to meet you. They leave a message. And I'm thinking, no, you didn't meet me. You picked my card up. So what I was started to realize is it's not about the numbers, that it's not about how many people you meet and how many cards you get. It's about the quality of the conversation.
Absolutely.
And I got into the mindset that it was better to go home having had conversation with 5 people that we had something to talk about later than 50 business cards.
Absolutely.
And so that started this whole idea of the way I wanted to do networking in the organization. So having said that, do you buy into that? And if we're going to in person or even online events, we get, we copy the chat, we get people's contact information. Do we reach out to everybody? Do we tell everybody it was great to see you? And we should have a clue about, whether they're a fit, at least initially, just from what we heard, either in a conversation or online. So I'm gonna stop talking now, but I'd love to have your take on that. And then please talk about how we can do it differently.
Okay.
I hope all that made sense.
I 100% agree with that. And when I first started, networking, it was like a quest to get a card from everyone in the room.
It was.
Because that's what I thought it was. And I remember this, I even asked the local networking guru how to fix this situation, because I was in a networking event with someone and this person started talking to me and went way, way, way into the weeds, way too deep, too much, too long. And I was looking over their shoulder, watching people leave the networking event. And I kept thinking, there are people leaving and I haven't even met them yet. And how do I get this person to stop talking?
Yes.
to me. I'm pinned. I mean, for etiquette, I was
Yeah, I
pinned.
mean, you could be rude, but you didn't want to be rude, right? Yeah, yeah. It's a
So
tough situation to be
I
in.
did get advice on that later, and I did learn exactly what you just said. First of all, you should not try to meet everyone. You can't effectively meet everyone in a networking event and build those relationships that you need. So that was a huge relief, and I changed my approach to networking. And I did learn a couple of really good tactics for when someone is talking to you too long and how to kind of segue. But those 5 that you mentioned, or it could be even 3,
Mhm.
they are the ones that you put your effort and your joy and your focus on. Because those people you made a connection with, they're interested to learn more about your company. So you do, now we do have the internet, so you send them a message. A lot of people don't like email right now. They want a text. And so people have even looked right at me and said, I don't read my email. You can send me one, but I don't read it. Send me a text. Okay, great. So that's becoming the preferred method of communication. And that actually adds a layer of complexity for business owners, because most of these contact databases are geared to send emails. And I still believe emails are the way to go. Emails generally return $44 to $1 spent when you mark it correctly through email. So it's still a very good method. But listen to your contacts. If they want text, then send them a text as well, especially if the text says, I just sent you an email about this. And that way you're not blowing up their text with 2 paragraphs. Okay.
Yeah.
So your approach to networking, like yesterday I was on one for speakers. And so I was looking for stages to speak on. And there were probably 40 people there with stages, and they all got to talk. And I just wrote down, say, 6 of them, because they were looking for the right kind of message that I have to deliver. So if I had tried to reach all 44 of those people, that would be useless for them and for me, because my message isn't what they're looking for. So you can be selective. You don't have to try to connect with every single person that's at an event with you, or every single person that you meet in a chat room, because everyone's time is so precious.
Yeah.
So you need to really, pardon me, you need to really be selective. And it leads all the way back to your ideal client. At this point in your business, you should have thought about your ideal client and developed a very good idea of who that person is. So you know who it is, so you know their pain points, so you can talk to those pain points and tell them how your solution is going to meet their needs. So the people that you meet in networking events, and again, they might not be the person who will buy from you, but they know people
Right.
who need your product. So your message has to be fluid enough that you can make that connection. It's more important than selling. You're not trying to sell when you're in a networking event.
That's a big one. That's a really big one, because I think that still happens.
It does. Your whole reason for being in the networking event is to find someone or a few someones who you want to explore more with. When you first contact them, like on LinkedIn or through an email or through a quick chat, a scheduled chat, is to see if you want to explore more working together or doing a joint venture, or if you both can serve each other's audience, that kind of thing, not sell.
Yeah. Do you think it's been my experience over the years that when people go into that mode of I have to meet everybody, or I have to sell something tonight, it's fear-based, that there's not enough. And if we can get behind the idea that there could be 3 perfect people here, because I don't have the energy to begin with, I don't have the time or the energy to connect with everybody, either at the event or afterwards. So, just to relax and know that, because also that energy of desperation, people pick up on it.
They do.
You don't have to say anything and people pick up on it. It's not real attractive.
I was the one with that, you know, in Charlie Brown Pigpen, and he had all that dirt around him all the time. I think that's what that energy must be like. And I was the one, like, literally trying to meet someone for 2 or 3 seconds, and here's my card, can I have yours, and move on.
Think we're working, think we're
really,
making something happen. I was there
it's
too.
comical now.
It is.
But that energy, that desperation, people feel it, and
Mhm.
it's a real turnoff. And it's hard when you need money,
Yeah,
or when you need clients and you need to make sales, you have to make payroll, you have to pay your bills. It's very hard to just relax and trust
it is.
that people will come. So I understand that too. I am not a woo-woo person. And when I started hearing these, this kind of manifesting and trusting,
Trust the universe, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm not listening to that. I'm going to keep, you know, going this way. But I finally, you know, it's working on me, and it
Yeah.
has worked for me. And so it's the energy, though. You don't have to believe in woo-woo stuff, but
Right.
you need to understand that energy of desperation that you are carrying with you into that conversation.
Mhm.
It speaks volumes before you ever say anything. So
And there's two sides to that coin. Yes, I trust the universe, and then do your work. Right? It's like there's a very practical, there's the practical physical side, there's the metaphysical side, you know, and I personally think they work really well together. But
they
you still
were,
have to take action. You still have to do things.
they do. And there's the manifesting and the believing. And then that works very well with the law of Goya, which is, have you heard that?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so
Go ahead and say
so
what
the law of Goya is get off your and get the work done.
uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
you need to believe that you believe in yourself. You
Mhm.
believe that there are people out there that need and want your product. You did not create this in a vacuum. There are people out there that you can help. They're there. They're looking for you. You're here. You have the solution. You're looking for them. Just believe that you're going to find each other, but you also have the law of Goya. So you have to do your work.
Yeah.
To make it happen.
Thank you for that. Yes. So let's circle back to cash in your contacts.
Yes.
So we were out there, we've met people, we're making some good contacts. Maybe somebody gets in touch with us and says, it was really great to meet you. I'd love to either, maybe have a Zoom meeting or tell me more about what you do. What should we have in place so that we can best take our potential prospect through some steps with us, right?
Yes,
So
actually. So you want to be able to listen to them. This phone call is not about you talking about your company, because logically in your company, you have at least 2 or 3 or 4 products that can help your ideal client. You don't know which one is going to resonate with them until you let them talk to you and you ask some really good questions and you just listen. For example, when I listen to people and they say, I need more leads, then I know to listen for what's behind that. They're overwhelmed. They don't have systems in place to run their business very well. Their cash flow is in trouble, that kind of thing. That's what they're experiencing. And what comes out is, I need more leads. So when you are listening to this person that you're having this one-on-one phone call with, listen for what they're not saying. That since you know this is your ideal client and you know all their pain points, you know what they're thinking at 3 o'clock in the morning when they wake up and they can't sleep because they're so worried about this problem they have. You know you have the solution. Here's another thing. People they buy what they want, but you have to provide what they need. So for example, they'll tell me, I need more leads. I want more leads. And what I know they need is a system to manage their leads so they can not have to be getting more leads all the time. So You sell them what they want, and then you provide what they need.
I love that. I love that. And they don't even need to know that's what they need, you know,
Yeah.
because you don't want to argue and tell them they're wrong. Well, you don't really need new leads. You need this, but instead you're just taking them through a process.
Yes. And here's another thing in that same vein, people buy on emotion. And then later, it could be seconds later or days later, they will justify that with logic.
Mm-hmm.
So always remember that emotion that they're feeling, that's what they're going to buy that emotion. And then later they'll say, well, of course, I bought that from that person. I bought that product because of these reasons. They don't really even realize they bought it on that emotion.
Mm-hmm. They thought they were in charge. They thought their brain was in charge, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we meet these people, we start a conversation, or we've still got, let's say we've got a list of 3,000 people sitting in a database in a contact management system.
Very good.
How do we, what should we be doing? You know, because I know when in the early days of internet and my business, I felt like I didn't want to send too many emails. I didn't want to bother people. Or if someone would remove themselves from my email list, this is before I had a contact management system. So they had to email me and tell me. I would be heartbroken. I would be like, oh God, what did I do? See, I sent too many emails. That must be what it was. And so, you know, I mean, you see how many emails I send. I mean, I have to, because how many things do I have out there? So I had to get over that. If someone doesn't want to see my emails, they aren't my people.
Right.
They don't have to read them all. They can look at the subject line and go, I can't do that. I'm not interested, and delete it. But they should really just get off my list if they don't want to get them, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's something I had to really emotionally, took a while for me back in the day to actually not feel a glitch in my stomach when I, even with the contact management system, I get that little note, you know, that says,
right,
your people unsubscribe. Oh no, why?
Yes, and it's so easy to, because you want to make them happy.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to make them happy, because if they're happy, then they'll someday buy from you, or they'll refer their friends to you. So that is a perfectly natural emotion, and it's a logical business reason to want someone to be happy. But someone can get on your list that figures out, oh no, this is not for me. It's not.
I do it.
Yeah. Or, you know, it met my needs at that time, and I just no longer need that thing.
Right.
And so I will tell you one more thing about people on your list, and then I'll give you 5 things you can do with those 3,000 people or 300.
Right. Because it really doesn't matter the size, does it?
No, it does not. The size of your list is not important. It's the amount of engagement that your people have with you. Okay. Mm-hmm. And engagement is measured. And let me tell you, guess who measures engagement? Yahoo, Google, Microsoft, and probably Apple, because anyway, that's who measures engagement. It's not you or the person that you're emailing. So they watch. Do people delete your email without opening it? Or do people never open it? Do people move it to spam? Do people report you? Good heavens, I hope not.
Right.
Do people unsubscribe? And so all of those things hurt your online reputation. Okay. The things that help your online reputation is when people open your email, first of all, that it goes into the inbox. That's the very most important thing. You want your email to go into the inbox. You don't want it to go into spam or promotions if you can help it. And how you do that is, again, with more people being engaged with you more. It's like when you're bowling and your score gets bigger and bigger and bigger as long as you don't have an open frame. And if you do have an open frame, it hurts your score, right? It's almost the same thing. As more people engage with you, the better your score is, the more emails of yours will go into the inbox. And then more people will engage with you, and then more of your emails will go into the inbox. So when I say engage with you, that's opening your emails, clicking on a link if you have it, replying to your email, and forwarding your email to someone. Those kinds of things, they're not just good for your reputation, they are magnificent for your reputation. So there's really no middle ground. Either someone is engaging with you and that's the bee's knees, that's terrific, or someone is not, and that is hurting your reputation. So there's really no middle ground. So the best thing you can do is two things: send relevant, interesting information with a subject line that's going to entice them to open it, but information that they want to hear and read. And don't send emails to people who have not engaged with you for, I'm going to say, a month. And that to some people are going to feel like, whoa, if I
I've never heard that before. Yeah, I go, whoa, really?
Because, and see, Yahoo and Google and Microsoft, they make the rules. And if they say, if someone hasn't engaged with you for a month and you're still sending them emails, then you're spamming them.
Really?
So, yeah. So now someone might say, holy cow, that's most of my list. Someone might think, well, if they've engaged with me in a year, anytime this past year, then they're interested in my product. But who makes the rules? Not us. So a month, that's really scary. But here's the thing: if you have 3,000 people on your list and only 2,500 or only 500 of them have been engaging with you for the last month, or you could even go 2 months if you really felt like you weren't going to cut that deep, and you eliminate the people that aren't engaged with you, what you're really eliminating is the risk. You're eliminating the risk of being marked as a spammer and being even blacklisted. You can be blacklisted by any one of those providers. So we've gotten off topic.
Wow. No, this is new
a
information
whole
for me.
different, this is a whole different interview, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I was thinking that. Yeah.
It is. It's a whole show. So that's a little bit of very important information that you need to watch out for, who you're sending emails to. And by the way, those, let's say 2,500 that I let go of, they're going to find you again, probably, because they run in your circles. If they really do want your product, they're going to find your ad on social media, or they're going to see your post, or they're going to see you online on a Facebook Live, or they're going to run into you again if they do have an urgent need that you can meet. So they're going to sign up for your email again, and then they're going to be more engaged with you this time. So I don't worry about losing a large portion of my list. But let me tell you 5 things that you can.
Yes, let's do that.
Let's drive that engagement, because that's where the money is. That's where the cash is in your contact. That's the people that are engaged with you. So we know that it's easier to service a client that you already have than it is to get a new one, and less expensive as well. So one of the things you can do is you can drive referrals by asking your happy customers if we did a good job. Did we do a good job? And you ask it exactly, did we meet your expectations? Exactly like that. And it's just a yes or a no in the email. So they click yes, and then they get an email asking for a referral. Do you have a friend or a colleague that would benefit from this, that, or the other service that we provided? And they can give you a referral. And then you can even further, and this is all automated, further, once they give a referral, you can send them a coupon or a gift or something like that to say, thank you so much, we appreciate that. And so here's a little gift for you. If someone says, no, you did not meet my expectations, that might feel really bad, but this is a golden opportunity for you to what? Find out, ask
why. Yeah.
What happened, what can we do better? Get them back on board. Probably, I would say a large percentage of the time, it's something that you can fix, and then they'll be even more loyal because you cared enough to ask, and then you took that step to fix and bring them around. So number 2, validate your targeting. A lot of businesses, when we first formed our business, we knew who our ideal client was. But over time, society has changed, especially in the last 2 years. Societal norms have changed. People's outlook have changed. We're in the middle of the Great Resignation. A lot is happening now that wasn't true 3 or 4 years ago, maybe, or 5 when you started your business. So you're targeting, let's say, middle-aged women with a college degree that make over $65,000 a year and have 2 children. And so you're doing pretty well. But you say, okay, well, I'm going to validate my targeting, and you send out a poll, and people answer questions for you about what's interesting to them or where they are in the socioeconomic status. And you find out that when you cross-reference those answers with your actual sales, that your sales are generally coming from single dads with a high school degree that make $30,000. And now here's the thing. You've been successful with your marketing to the wrong group. What would happen if you started marketing to the group that's already buying your product? You're just going to get more and more of them, new ones, and you're going to make the ones that you already have even happier. So ask your happy customers for referrals, validate your targeting. You can segment your list. And this is a really powerful piece. I've got my little cards here that I need to put in my system. I'm going to make a note of where I met them, what anything they said to me that they were interested about products that I have. I'm going to tag them with the webinar that I'm going to invite them to come to. And so I'm going to keep track of pieces of information about them who referred them to me. So someday when I have information to deliver, then I'm going to be able to target the information to the right people who want that information. And so you can automate testimonials, very similar to the first one when we automated requesting a referral. Same thing. Someone buys from you. Did we meet your expectation? If they say yes, you ask for a testimonial. And if they say no, again, you follow that route and you find out what happened and you fix it. And then you can, number 5, automatically send cool things to a new customer. And I say a new customer, but you can do this to every customer. And it does not have to be an expensive gift. It could be an article that you know that they might be interested in, or invitation to join you at a free event that you're going to that you think they would be interested in. It can be something small. It can be a greeting card with a little Starbucks gift card in it or some other kind of thing. It can be all the way up to something etched and engraved with their logo in it. So you're going to be taking a client all the way up to a raving fan. If you can do something that they are not expecting, that has to be above and beyond the promise and the payment and the delivery, that's a basic minimum that has to happen. This goes above and beyond that. That's what's going to make them a raving fan. And raving fans, they don't just tell people about you if someone asks. Raving fans, they can't stop talking about you. Like I am with On Purpose Women Global Community. I'm telling everybody about it because I can't believe that I didn't find it sooner in my career. And so I'm a raving fan for this organization. And every businesswoman that I meet, I tell her about it.
Thank you.
And so, yeah.
So it's mine to mess up then, right?
They didn't even give me anything free.
What was that?
They didn't even give me something free.
Right.
But the thing is, with the right system in place for your business, you can automate a lot of these steps. So I probably, blew your mind with all of those things, but you can make them happen while you're asleep and while you're with your family at the lake. And maybe, God forbid, if you're sick and you end up, going to the hospital, these things can still be happening for you in the background. That's the automation that's going to keep your business not just surviving, but thriving.
Wow. So I want to have thank you. I want to have you tell everyone how they can find out more about what you offer, but I want to say something kind of final here to see if I can distill this into like a sentence. What I think you're saying is that it's engagement is really about connecting and sending your clients, your existing people, maybe they're not a client yet, but the people on your list who you believe are your people, something unexpected, something that isn't about something you're offering. That was an awkward way to put it. So if I'm sending out, just here's my meeting coming up, here's the magazine, check this out. That's asking. That's always asking for something. So, but real engagement is doing something more personal with them, either one-on-one or sending something out to a group that may be relevant, that just says, I was just thinking about you. And is that what you're saying here?
Yes.
I know I've dumbed it down quite a bit.
A big part of it.
Yeah,
and
okay.
yeah, so that person knows, oh, she knows me, she cares about me. So here's a very simple explanation. If I was a pest control company and some of my clients told me they have a problem with termites and other of my clients told me they have a problem with scorpions, I would send information to the people with termites of how we can meet their need, how they can look for the signs, things that they can use and do and learn and know without asking them to buy from me, just helping them deal with that issue. And the same with the scorpions. But it would do no good at all for me to tell the termite people how to deal with a scorpion problem at all. So that's why it's important to have that segmented list and to send them things that are valuable to them and help them have a better life without asking them to buy anything from me.
I really like that a lot. Thank you. So how can people find out more? Throw out your contact information, anything you want to tell them about that you have coming up?
Yes, so I have a masterclass on this very subject, cashing your contacts, and I put the link in the chat, and I think we can share that and I'll share it in a comment when this
Okay, great.
video goes live on Facebook. And so we're going to delve into each of those 5 areas in deeper content. So you'll come away with action steps, things that you can implement in your business right away. And then my contact information, I'll put that also with the video when it goes live on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook, and of course, I have a website that's under construction. I'm very excited. I get my website tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
You'll have a really big reason to contact all of your people, won't you? Yeah. Rita, thank you. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed, you spoke about this at one of my meetings. It was a shorter period of time. There wasn't as much time to ask questions. So I really feel like I really understand much more about what it is that you do, but also how important it is. You've created something I think really needed, especially for women entrepreneurs, and
absolutely.
we get stuck a lot. So thanks so much for sharing your time with us today. Glad
Oh,
you're here.
you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me here.
You're welcome. And I want to thank all of you for joining us for the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and Global Community Facebook page. If you love this interview and want to share it with your friends, it will be on our YouTube channel in the next 48 hours. So go over to On Purpose Woman Global Community on YouTube, subscribe, and sign up for notifications. There are over 100 inspiring, informative, and fun shows for you to watch on our channel. We started also in May, we started sharing videos of the speakers at our On Purpose Woman Global Community Zoom gathering. So that's added a whole other dimension. And you can also find Rita's talk at our event there. We have 15 great shows lined up for you for July and August. So coming up tomorrow, the other host of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, Catherine Yarborough, speaks with Gail Dixon about messages that make an impact. And on Friday, I'll be back talking with writing mentor, teacher, and creative coach Carol Burbank about Before We Disappear, the power of memoir and the joy of sharing your story. You can always find out what's coming up on the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show by going to my website, opwgc.com, and clicking on magazine and look in the table of contents. That will take you right to our calendar for July and August. While you're there, check out the On Purpose Woman Global Community and all of our free online and in-person meetings. And thank you again for watching the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show. See you again.